That's the first time I've done it with 3 people. No, it's
That's
not.
what she
It's not
said.
actually. It's not. Just completely forgetting the norm. Oh
Dude,
no.
that's fucked.
Howdy, hools. Welcome back to Spicy Reddit Stories. Today, we have a very special guest. We have our... I almost said like oldest friend from Mixer.
Our best friend from Mixer.
She is a comedian, body painter with 9 years of experience. She's gone by a few different names in her career, but now she goes by the name Infunktable. She's been intentionally disturbing the feeds of unsuspecting people around the world, minding their own damn business on social media. If you've come across a video online of MODOK in space, in space lip syncing to I Believe I Can Fly.
I believe I can fly.
Or maybe a TikTok of a foot with a giant toe.
You say you love.
This is the person responsible. Today on our show, we are very pleased to welcome Hannah.
Yay, thank you. And I get people literally asking me if the toe foot thing is if that's my real foot. It's kind of weird.
Yes.
That's your real foot.
And like I get the sense, hopefully so. Like it's, you know, they're like, wait, have I found like the what would the term be? The what's that thing from Indiana Jones? Where's like the magical cup? What is that magical cup?
Oh, the Holy Grail?
And the Holy Grail
The
of
Holy
feet.
Grail.
The Holy Grail
Yeah.
of feet pics.
Yeah, that's like
I don't
the
know, unless more
ultimate.
toes is better, would I be like the would I be the bad thing to send people?
I don't know. I'm sure that there's some foot fetishist out there that has a thing for
I'm
wishing
sure that's
that
their favorite video of yours.
possibly.
If I'm divided in the community, there's like discussions about whether it's disgusting or the best thing ever. I can cause a lot of chaos in the feet fetish community.
You could, I don't know if you did this with the toe, but you could have
Yeah.
put just some hair, like some loose hair,
Yeah.
on the toe.
Make it a little, man, I might have to redo it. I consider doing the same thing with my hand, but with just like a thumb at the end of my
Yeah, that would be so cool. I support that.
Yeah, no, because then you would be the thumb. You would have thumb hands. From
That's
Spy
right,
Kids.
I would have thumb hands. Actually, I have a friend of mine worked on the thumbs, so I found out. Cause I was
way.
Yeah, oh, dagnabbit, I forget his last name now. It's Marcus. I'm sorry, Marcus, if you see this, but yes, Marcus. I was going to make the thumbs, like the whole head thing and everything. Well, the thumb head thing, and he messaged me. He was like, "Hey, by the way, I worked on Spy Kids," and I think I literally just got because that was like
cool.
it was like in 2020 though. I think I straight up just got too intimidated upon like hearing that. And I was just like, I'll get back to it like a month from now. And then it just never happened. I can't do that to like the guy that like made the thumbs.
I know.
Oh, you totally could,
Yeah,
though.
you would blow it out of the water.
I need to do that. And I just do like a surprise like thing where I just put like both of the thumbs up to my face like, but never address it.
I love that.
God, that always looks so uncomfortable to wear. But how long was the foot?
Oh boy, it
remember?
took me like a week to make the foot because I had to make a mold. I had to make like a plaster cast of my actual foot. So I used plaster sculpted onto the plaster for the toe. Had to make a mold out of that, which I made from like 20 hot glue sticks because I did everything broke special effects style. It took like a week to make it and then like 6 hours to apply it. Because also, like, I had to use gelatin, and gelatin melts with body heat, so I had to, like, glue a bunch of extra stuff to my foot so it just wouldn't melt off.
Oh my god.
It was
God.
disgusting. It felt terrible, but it looked neat. It was a
looked
dream that I had, and
crazy.
it was literally a dream come true. I was so excited to make that. I had never seen someone make that before. Like, you have to tickle your inner child sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody has made one since.
No, I don't think they
No.
would ever dare. I mean...
They can't
After,
compete.
you can't. I mean, yeah. would anyone ever try to like show up like Madonna or Chapel Roan? I don't think so. I'm not saying I'm the Chapel Roan of the toe community. I'm just saying I don't think anyone else
I think
is.
you are, to be honest.
Chapel toe.
Chapel toe.
Chapel toe. Yeah.
We could go on about this forever,
Yeah, I
everybody.
completely derailed that.
But we're going to have a podcast episode with Hannah that we're recording literally right after this, and it'll be out later in the week whenever this goes up.
We have more toes where that came from.
We have more toes.
Like multiples of them.
We're going to get started here with our my co-host Brianna Kiss.
Woo! Okay. So, my first story was posted on r/petty revenge. The user is Twinkle Goddess X. The title is, I'll get my discount one way or another. So I chose this one because I recently found out this information because I had the same thing happen to me. Posted this and it seems like petty revenge to me. I had to go to the ER a few years ago because I got something stuck in my eye. The pain was excruciating, and it was bad enough that the urgent care clinic said I really needed to go to the ER. So I go to the ER, get through triage, and immediately see a doc who flushed, dyes, scopes, and eventually is able to get the burr out of my eye without blinding me.
Oh.
Yikes.
You ever get those stuck on your feet? I remember as a little kid getting them stuck on my sock.
Yes.
And I freaked the fuck out because I didn't know what this was.
Yeah, I thought it was a bug. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh!
No, and like, getting caught on like the bottom of your pants. So you keep you think you got all of them, and you try to walk, and you could feel another one.
Yep. All good, I think, because the hospital is in network. Well, fine readers, it turns out that while a hospital may be in network, you can be treated by a doctor in an emergency and get a bill for thousands of dollars because the doctor you saw for an emergency was an independent contractor and therefore out of network.
That's crazy.
Oh.
Oof.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
it
was
worked like
floored.
that.
Yeah. I was floored to get a $3,100 bill for the care I received. Sure, I was happy that I wasn't blind, but $3,100 seemed steep. I called, and sure enough, the facility fees were almost nothing thanks to the insurance discount, but no discount at all on the doctor. I was very angry because I really had no choice in who saw me. And if there had been no in-network doctor on duty, would I have had to wait? So I hatched a plan. They would not negotiate on price at all. I thought this was ridiculous. I could have paid the bill, but I have principles, damn it. I told the billing folks that I couldn't afford the bill and wanted a payment plan. I'm not sure if there's a law requiring them to accept a payment plan, but they agreed and asked what I could afford. I told them $10 a month. Here's this thing. Here's the thing about medical bills. They can't charge you interest on them. They also cannot report you to collections if you are paying. Finally, it has zero impact on your credit score if you take a payment plan, unless it goes to collections. So now, for a procedure I was billed $3,100 for a little more than 2 years ago, I've paid $260 on. I have the $10 a month on auto pay, and I've basically forgotten about it. They'll get their $3,100, but it'll be over almost 24 more years. And they will spend almost $150 in postage, mailing me a bill every month that immediately goes into the shredder to be recycled.
I didn't know you could make it that cheap.
I
the
didn't
payments on
either.
stuff.
I didn't even know you could do a payment plan.
Yeah.
I've always thought, like, because I haven't been to the ER for something serious in years. I think the last time I was still just a little kid. So I've never had to pay a hospital bill as a fully fledged adult, and I've always worried in the back of my mind that if I do have that happen, they're gonna give me like a $4,000 bill, and I'm gonna have to be like, how?
Yeah, no, like once like my spouse, it was like years ago, got like crazy blisters like all up their like arm and hand. We went to the ER. We basically just got sent home, and they were given one what is it? It's like the antihistamine, the allergy pill. They got one of them while in the ER. We were charged $70. And it was one of those things like you could just get a bottle like at Walmart for like an allergy medicine. And it was $70 for, and that was on top of $2,000 for like a half-hour visit. Well, like waiting for 4 hours in the ER, being seen briefly, and then being sent home, and just like it was $2,000 for the visit and $70 for like one pill.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I feel that. I recently went to the ER like, I want to say like 2 months ago for an allergic reaction because there was like some cross-contamination in the food I was eating. So I went to the hospital because I have a history of like anaphylaxis. So I was like, I'm not going to chance it.
Yeah.
So I went to the hospital. They were kind of rude, like right off the bat about it. They were just kind of like, oh, you're being dramatic. And I'm like, oh, I died.
You know how you love
like,
that from doctors.
Like, thanks. But literally, they had me waiting in the waiting room was pretty fast. It was maybe like 20 minutes. And
Ooh.
but they put me like in the actual like room, but it wasn't actually a room. It was kind of like triage a little bit, but
Sorry, what? I'm gonna sound dumb here, but what is triage?
it's kind of like a place where they can treat you that's not in the actual like room. So it's kind of like after the waiting room, but before your actual
Oh, that's
room.
right. That weird little, it's like an
Yeah.
office, but not. And that's where they have like
Yeah.
the students like watching you while
Yes.
they're like doing things
Yeah.
to you. Yeah.
That's exactly where it was.
Yeah.
It was really weird. But they had me waiting there for like 2-3 hours. And then just for the doctor to come in for like 5 seconds and be like, oh, here's Benadryl. And like, here's
Yep.
like a steroid so you don't like die.
Yeah.
And it was
I guess.
$2,000 just to see that fucking doctor.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there's no way that it's worth that much too.
I genuinely don't understand the
Yeah.
medical field.
Where is that 2,000 going? Where is it getting split up?
I'm saying, like, why?
That doesn't directly go to the doctor.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
Not at all. It's very stupid.
It's for snacks.
Yeah, we need to pay. There's approximately 15 vending machines in this hospital. We need to pay the service guy who comes and empties all the shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Randomly, I've always wanted to. You ever see a vending machine guy come and he has that whole entire giant box of all the snacks and all the drinks? When I was younger, I always wanted to run up to them and use one of my siblings as a distraction while I grab all the snacks out of the box.
Yeah.
I don't think that would go over well.
No.
Did you ever see when Darren Brown, like the magician guy that could he like hypnotize people, and he like tricked people into trying to like rob an armored vehicle by like
Ooh.
doing some kind of distraction, and then like they run off with the money. I think like especially as a child, it would be the same feeling. It would feel like running away with $1 million if
yeah.
you could like trick the
Yeah.
vending machine guy.
Yeah.
Just like get a baby doll, throw some ketchup on it, and be like, "Oh my god, my sister!" And then you just get the snacks and run. Who's gonna believe him? No one.
Yeah. No. Have one of your younger siblings in the ketchup and whatnot just run up and just hug the vending machine guy, and as he's trying to
Yeah.
freak out and get him off, just like, is that ketchup?
Wait.
Yeah, and you know what? It's actually a gift because that guy probably doesn't have a lot of exciting stories about work. You're giving
Oh,
him
no.
that gift. You're
Yeah,
giving
you're
him
making his
something to
day.
talk about. Yeah, icebreaker. You're gifting him an
Yeah.
icebreaker. That's at least a Doritos Cool Ranch.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I had a mystery illness when I was like 9. We never figured out what it was. They literally thought it was appendicitis, but at one point I couldn't walk. I was vomiting so much.
Oof.
But right before, and they started prepping me for surgery. It was crazy.
Oh.
And then
my
they stuck a
God.
tube up my butt and stuck me through an MRI machine. And then they're like, "You still have your appendix is fine, so you're gonna go home now." It was a crazy night.
What the fuck?
God.
Jesus.
I was exposed to radiation. I had a tube up my ass, and for what? I have nothing to show for this. I can't go into school tomorrow and say, yeah, I had appendicitis.
What happened?
Well, but right before that, though, my brother and I were obsessed with sticking jumbo marshmallows in the microwave because it looked like monsters. Like, if you watch
my
the... It's
God.
like, that's something else. Like, I had my face right up to the microwave. As, like,
Oh.
the marshmallows would just become something just, like... I mean, I was gonna say inhuman. That'd be messed up if I really thought I was eating like little fluffy people. But like, I was eating like they're like really gooey, fluffy, bubbly, and like
Yeah.
it came to for like 3 years after I couldn't look or smell like a marshmallow, or I would get very nauseous, and I still feel really weird about jumbo marshmallows.
Oh,
And I still have no idea what that illness was. I just got better and just
Yeah.
moved on.
Okay, so my last story was posted on Relationship Advice. Posted by Simple Female 2084.
They don't make those anymore.
From the future.
They don't make those anymore. Title is Devastated After Looking Through My 30 Female Fiancé's 33 Male Search History. How can I move past this? So
You
this
don't.
one's a little long, but it's very much tea-filled. So strap in, y'all. My fiance and I have been together for nearly 3 years. He's the most loving, supportive, and compassionate man I've ever met. He always sees the best in people and has been there for me through everything. I love him so much and want to spend my life with him. While visiting my family for a week, he used my laptop for work a few times. A few days ago, I opened my laptop and I noticed he hadn't logged out of his Google account. I went to go log him out, but instead, I impulsively started going through his search history. The reason for this goes back to a little over a year ago before we got engaged when we hit a rough patch. I was hit with depression and struggled for months, barely able to get out of bed, working from home, and gaining 30 pounds. During that time, I wasn't as present in our relationship. I pushed him away, criticized him, all because I was projecting from fear that he'd leave me. Still, despite that, he was very supportive and checked in on me daily. Eventually, I sought help, got on medication, started therapy, and slowly regained my energy. I got back into the gym, lost the weight, and started reconnecting with friends. Our relationship improved as I began to feel like myself again. Things were going well until about 5 months ago when he took me to a potluck his company was having. Having.
We're having a potluck. Come on.
I had already met most of his colleagues at his company Christmas party back in December. One of those colleagues being a woman in her late 30s, very fit, single, and well-dressed. I didn't think anything of it at the time other than they seemed like good work buddies and he enjoyed working with her. But at the potluck, he was acting very tense and tried to avoid her. Afterwards, of course, I asked what that was about, and he hesitantly confessed that during our rough patch, he had developed feelings for her and had lunch with her a few times. He assured me nothing happened and that once he realized what he was doing, he distanced himself and focused on our relationship and being a better partner. That revelation hurt deeply, especially during a time when I already felt insecure about my body and feared he'd leave me. Having been cheated on before, my mind went to the worst case scenario. He felt guilty and gave me access to his phone, computer, and work chats to prove nothing else had happened. After some time, we worked through it and things between us felt stable again. But I couldn't stop overthinking. I kept wondering if there was more to the story. I tried to trust him, but old wounds and paranoia crept in. This man Googles everything because he overthinks everything. So when I saw an opportunity to check his search history, I did. I filtered back to that time period when we had that rough patch, hoping to find something that would either confirm or dispel my doubts. His searches from that time were things like how to stop having feelings for someone, is it cheating to have a crush while in a relationship, how to stay faithful to my girlfriend, and how to distance yourself from a coworker. These were searches he made through the course of 5 weeks. There were no signs he cheated or wanted to be with her. His searches showed he was actively trying to fight those feelings. I was relieved and felt bad for doubting him. But then I found searches that crushed me. My girlfriend got fat and I'm not attracted to her. I love my girlfriend, but I find her ugly. Girlfriend doesn't take care of herself. Want to leave my girlfriend because she's fat and ugly.
Those cuts,
And-
like, gradually worse.
Like, holy shit.
Like, it was more
It's
subtle.
like, oh,
It was more subtle at first, and then finally it's like, this bitch got fat and ugly.
This bitch sucks, by the way. Like, holy shit.
here I was ready to throw a parade for this man in my head.
It's like, oh, his heart is in the right place.
Dude, I bought 5,000 balloons for this.
Oh, well.
I can't get my money back. I left with them deflated. I can't bring them back inflated.
God. And this last one. And my girlfriend's body grosses me out. Wow.
Mean.
These were sprinkled throughout the time I was struggling, about 10 of those searches. Some within the same day after we hung out, and some of them were on days he was with me. He visited lots of Reddit pages where men talked about how they found their wives ugly after they gained weight. I also found that he didn't like my cat at the time because she meows too much and won't leave him alone.
Even the cat is
Poor
like catching
cats.
some shade too. Like, not even the cat.
What'd the cat do, bro?
They're in the middle of a fight and the cat just meows because they hasn't been fed like yet during the day. He just
like,
goes, "You shut your fucking mouth!"
I've had enough.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
Cheer on top.
I don't believe that I was ugly even after that weight gain. I'm very feminine. I still wore makeup and wore nice outfits whenever I could get myself to go out. Despite being heavier, I still put effort into upkeeping my appearance. Also, weight has nothing to do with how attractive you are. Like, that's just
right.
not even a thing.
Yeah.
None of this seems to reflect how he feels about me now. He can't keep his hands off me. He constantly tells me how gorgeous I am, and our sex life is amazing. He also plays with my cat all the time now.
We get it. Your sex life is amazing.
God. He's more affectionate with me and my cat now more than ever, and he makes me feel loved every day. He even got into therapy himself to address his sever. Jesus Christ.
His cervix.
His sever anxiety and self-esteem issues. But I can't look at him the same way now. Knowing what he thought of me during my most vulnerable time has shattered something inside me. He thought I was quote-unquote fat and ugly when I trusted him to see past my weight gain and when he would say he finds me beautiful. What really stings is that he's not exactly the most handsome man in the world and is certainly not in the best shape. He's gained weight throughout our relationship and his hygiene is subpar.
Yeah, let him have it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. He'll wear the same underwear for 2 days in a row, smells sometimes,
God.
and brushes his teeth maybe once a day.
Oh, stop. No.
Oh. But I never once fucking judged him for that or thought of him as any less attractive. Sure, I would have intrusive thoughts about that stuff from time to time, but I easily dismiss them because I love him and he's incredibly handsome to me with a beautiful heart. Now, I can't stop wondering, what happens when I inevitably gain weight again, whether from pregnancy or aging? Will he see me as fat and ugly again? Will he have eyes for another woman again? Will he have the strength to push those feelings away and distance himself the next time? I don't know how to process this. I'm talking to my therapist about it, but I can't let go of the fact that during my lowest point, he saw me in such an awful light. I don't want to break up with him. I love him so much, and he treats me like a queen. I also can't talk to him about this. If he knew I saw those searches, as well as some very personal ones regarding his own struggles, he'd be mortified, and he might even end things between us. I would have never known about this if I hadn't invaded his privacy like that. And I'm deeply ashamed of doing it. But I'm also kind of glad I did, because even though he saw me in that light, he proved to be a faithful man and prioritized me. In a way, I feel very lucky. But I'm hurt and worried that he will still see me that way at times throughout our relationship. I'm self-conscious around him and no longer let him see me naked. How can I move past this and feel safe with him again?
Jeez, this one has like some nuance to it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
man, that's
Because
rough,
you have,
though.
yeah, it is really rough because you have the, her finding that he was fighting these feelings of, he obviously may have had, obviously had a possible crush on his coworker. But also, you also have the privacy, being infringed upon, but also at the same time, she also, in a way, I feel like deserved to know that was going on.
Yeah,
but he still kept it a secret.
You need the transparency. I'm thinking, like, because what I always tell my kids is like, there's no such thing as a bad feeling. Like, there's no such thing as like a feeling that is like, I mean, somewhat like, but there's no such thing as a feeling that is just wrong to have in and of itself. It's what you do with that feeling.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hurtful that those feelings existed, but what matters is what he did with them. Mm-hmm. And he did non-hurtful things.
Yeah, he did.
I think that I don't know if I'd be able to get all of that out of my head, though, especially if he's still regularly seeing the person. I think that would bug me quite a bit.
Yeah,
but also, I'm like not a very secure person, though.
That is a mood.
So
that's totally
that is
fair.
So fair.
Someone who's like secure attachment probably wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have, as I've gotten back into therapy and I've learned about attachment styles, I definitely seem to have more of an anxious attachment style than like, someone who is perfectly secure, which I can, as much work as I'm trying in therapy, it's not that I don't look at things anymore. Well, maybe that's not true. I was about to say looking at things in absolutes, but I've gotten a lot better, I feel, at looking at things in absolutes, being in terms of, I used to just catastrophize everything, and now when I do catastrophize,
same.
I am able to come back around a lot quicker to other options and thinking more about those being the reasons why I'm catastrophizing, as opposed to just be like, well, maybe I'll just sit in my feelings and die.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like, because like the first step to healing is literally just awareness. And I could have said the exact same thing, Daryl, where it's like, I used to catastrophize so hard, and I would have this distrust of anyone else to solve problems. So I almost felt like catastrophizing was necessary in order to like protect myself and everyone around me. But just having the awareness now that I do that at all, because I didn't even know that I did that. It was just a part of my normal like emotional life. Like just being aware of it, you can start to spiral, but then if you have that emotional intelligence, you can start to walk yourself back and be like, what is reality versus what I'm perceiving to be reality?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, anxious attachment styles, woohoo, kind of.
Woohoo! It's weird because I think I have like a little bit of both. So it's like internally, I have like a very anxious attachment style, but then I don't let that show, so it comes off like I'm avoidant because I don't want to like
interesting.
show my feelings, which is
right. You try to like
good.
pick your battles a bit, like you don't engage with everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will avoid confrontation like the fucking plague.
Yeah. No, if I can smell like conflict, I start to like plan immediately for what's the best way to evade it, because it's the big unknowns. You don't know like how bad the pain is going to be if you make a mistake from catastrophizing, or if you have to have a conversation that your body can't handle. You just start to like I depersonalize so hard, I'm like not even in the room, and I can't even remember the conversation afterward.
Yeah. No,
But,
I get that.
Because
Yeah.
you're going to survival mode at that point.
You do,
with
totally.
your mind, and maybe not so, at least for me, not so much my body, but definitely my mind. Like if I catastrophize to the point where I am thinking about a bunch of different angles in terms of like, maybe I said this thing wrong, or maybe if I keep having these weird I mean, that's not weird, but worries, that in turn, even if I'm trying to protect myself or protect another person, the more that I do that, it can actually have real life consequences.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can't pull myself out of a catastrophizing moment until it's too late.
Yes.
And sometimes, especially when it's with people that I care about, I really tend to overanalyze things to the point where it can absolutely manifest itself into some real life, not drama, but it can it almost manifests my worries.
Yeah,
into
okay,
real
I was
life.
literally just about to say that. Like, that was one thing that I think has been so valuable that I learned as well, like, about my anxiety, where I sometimes worry so hard about preventing something that my actions and my tone and all of that end up causing the specific things that because, like, my spouse is avoidant, and so I would begin discussions expecting them to be defensive and standoffish, but I would almost come across in like an accusatory tone in anticipation of that, which would then literally cause them to be like defensive and closed off.
Yeah.
And then my anxiety gets to be like, oh look, I was right, I predicted this. And it would just like lead to this like weird even though it's the exact opposite of what you wanted to happen, because I think all of us want like emotional intimacy and communication and transparency and all that.
Absolutely.
But we get in our own way, as Kesha said.
No, truly. And she's so real for that.
She's
was ahead
so,
of her time.
dude, if you have not seen her TED Talk, where she has a song that hasn't come out properly yet, but she performed a song called Cathedral at the end of a TED Talk she just did. I listened to that on a loop and just cry, because there's a line in it too where it's, hope is a madman who lives in my mind. And I feel like for mentally ill people, we can have like this idealistic view of like who could I be if I can maybe self-actualize? Who could I have been if I didn't have these wounds and stuff? So there's like this little madman of hope in your mind that's like, who could I be if I could possibly self-actualize and get past all of... Anyway, Kesha's a mad freaking genius, so just anyone who hasn't listened to Gad
watch
Border,
that TED Talk.
fix it.
I have it pulled up right now, actually saved.
You have to. Oh my gosh, no! Cathedral is probably. I haven't seen it released properly yet. I've only heard it on the TED Talk, but it is probably my favorite song of hers now. That and Kinky. Kinky is a great one.
Good song. Good song. Yeah, but in regards to the story, I think she's taking all the right steps. Like, she's talking to her therapist about it, and she's, like, trying to work through this.
I feel like cheers to our generation for defaulting to therapy. I feel like our generation, more than the ones previous to us, are like, I need a professional. I am not handling this the way I should. There's a lot more shame associated with, like, the X and boomers, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very glad that I am in therapy as an adult. Although sometimes I find it hard to navigate in therapy what I want to talk about because I have so many different things that I want to discuss and I go off on tangents so much because I have ADHD.
Right.
And sometimes I just don't get to necessarily the root of why I've been working very hard on catastrophizing, and my therapist is good about giving me homework and stuff.
That's great.
It's just I have a hard time sometimes putting that into practice because I want to get it right the first time. And then when I obviously don't because I'm a fucking human, I start to catastrophize and think like, oh, I'll never get there. So
Right. Well, and especially since like a lot of the behaviors that like we go to therapy for, we've slowly been like solidifying these behaviors as a result of like a survival mechanism. So it's hard to then like undo what our brains have been like trying to help us survive like by doing. Now I feel like part of getting better is you have to like almost role play a healthier person and then wait for your brain to catch up with those behaviors.
Yeah.
I've
Make it till you
started
make it.
Yeah, it's like I have to listen to affirmation. It was weird. I was one of those people, like when I was religious, who like would kind of look down on affirmations. Those are my favorite thing now. Like it's kind of amazing where like I make myself listen to just like 5 minutes and I'll be like, this is not going to do anything. I am not in the mood for this. But then after 5 minutes, I'm like, damn it, it worked. God damn it, I feel calmer now. Yeah, because every single morning, I'm like, this isn't going to do anything. It's not going to do a thing for me. This is a waste of time. I should be doing something else right now. I feel better every single time.
Yeah.
And it's like
you
saying
just need to
stuff
take
that
a
you
moment.
don't believe too. Like affirmations are always like, I am enough. I deserve love. And it's like, I know I don't. But then after you say it, after enough days in a row, like your brain starts to be like, I don't know, maybe I do a little bit.
I guess.
Yes. If I insist. Yeah.
I love that.
And like I don't want to like delay like going forward from this, but I'm very fortunate to have a partner that is very understanding, even though they don't, or at least they claim that they're not neurodivergent, and have these like constantly trying to decipher through like their own emotions through catastrophizing, I guess.
The post thing. My wife, Sarah, 30 female, and I've been together for 5 years. And I've always been a straightforward, no-nonsense kind of guy. I show my love through actions, not words. I take care of her. I'm loyal, and I've always been there when she needs me. So when it came to planning the wedding, I didn't think writing vows was a big deal. We're busy people, and in between work, wedding planning, and just life in general, I didn't really have time, or honestly, the interest, to sit down and write some long, sappy speech. I said those words, I actually didn't process what any of them meant. I'm gonna reread that real quick, because I literally didn't even...
Oh, no, it's okay.
I just zoned out midway through that, and I was like, oh shit.
That's so valid.
Okay, the long, sappy speech. I mean, she knows I love her, right? I don't need to prove it with words. I just figured the wedding itself, the whole event, was enough to show my commitment. Plus, I've never been good with words. I'm more of an action speak louder kind of guy. The night before my wedding, Sarah asked if I had my vows ready. I just casually told her, no, I didn't write anything down, but I'll just say something on the spot, because I'm stupid like that. She didn't say that part. She looked surprised, but I didn't think much of it. I mean, we were about to get married. Why stress over some words when the whole point is that we're making a lifelong commitment? Yeah, a commitment that requires communication, buckaroo. Words are a little important.
A little tiny bit.
Fast forward to the ceremony. The officiant asked me to say my vows, and I just kind of winged it. I said something like, I love you, I'll always be there for you, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Short, sweet, and to the point. I thought it was fine. But when I looked at Sarah, you mean you weren't looking at Sarah while you were saying your
Like,
vows?
who were you saying it to? What the fuck?
He was just kind of chilling, just kind of like, oh, yeah, I like her. I mean, look at her.
Yeah.
She's fine. But when I looked at Sarah, she had this crushed look on her face. Like, I didn't understand what the big deal was. She was getting the commitment, right? That's what matters. After the Sarah, I feel like Sarah should have known this after 5 years, girl. What happened?
Yeah,
You got any
Sarah, what
blinders on?
happened?
Sarah,
Yeah.
come on. After the ceremony, she was quiet, and I could tell she was upset, but I didn't get why. Later, some of her friends and even a couple of mine came up and slapped my fucking face. No, a couple of mine came up to me.
You stupid bitch! Maybe I shouldn't say that alone in my apartment, followed up by a snapping sound.
Bitch.
When I talked to Sarah later, she said she felt hurt that I didn't put any effort into the vows and that it made her feel like I didn't care as much as she does. I told her that was ridiculous. I married her, didn't I? That's the ultimate proof of how much I care. Why should I have to spell it out in front of everyone? Says the man that proposed and agreed to a wedding.
Like,
Honestly, I think everyone's overreacting. The wedding was beautiful, and at the end of the day, we're married. So what's she gonna do now? That's what matters. I don't see the point in making a big deal out of a few words when I'm already committed to spending my life with her. But now I'm here because people are acting like I'm the worst husband ever for not writing. It's one day! Okay. Am I the asshole for not writing wedding vows because I don't see the point? It's one day, it's one speech. Like, it's once. You only have, I mean, hopefully. Like, you only have to do that one time.
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that. Sarah.
And he wrote this whole thing out, but he couldn't write vows?
That is an excellent
what?
point, actually. This is a
Yup.
lot of work. So he's cool with writing about himself. Maybe if he had written his vows about himself and then swapped
Yeah.
his name with Sarah's name?
Maybe.
Because then he, you know, you're amazing. You understand me. You don't make me write things.
You don't make me write things.
Why? It's wild.
It's interesting because it's like you can put such nice clothing on people, but it doesn't make a difference as to
No.
who they are. So, like, you get to see people who, like, they look so nice, but, like, they're terrible still.
Yeah. The thing that goes between being a professional male here, I guess, I think that sometimes we just get to the point where it's like, oh, we're trying to do this to be funny, but also there's that line between people, not just guys, but people that know when to actually make a joke, where it goes too far, and where you can kind of ride that fine line. These guys are just more so they don't know the difference, I think.
Yeah, and I
Or
wonder,
they're just lazy.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, if part of, like, if they're, like, because being around, like, religious men, like, my whole life, like, if you have to do anything emotional, you have to, like, shove, like, humor into it. So you're like, okay, but I'm still a guy, though. And I almost wonder if, like, if these guys are, like,
I
they're
don't have
so
feelings.
scared. Yeah, like, I wonder if they're, like, so scared of appearing vulnerable, it's just too much, and they know that it's safe for them to, like, default to making a joke about it.
Yeah.
Because they know that
Yeah.
they think they're gonna fuck it up, and they just decide that it's kind of like defeatist.
Yeah. Like, if they're gonna
Yeah.
fuck up, might as well full send and fuck up.
Yeah. Oh man, that reminds me, like, why when Pete Davidson was talking about, like, why he, like, used to smoke weed, like, all day every day, even like when he worked at SNL and he was still smoking all day, which is crazy because of the schedule that those people have.
Yeah.
But he was saying, like, he was so scared of genuinely trying, because if he didn't smoke when he was, like, working on stuff, and if, like, he really, like, tried and he failed, it would be too painful. So he was like, well, if I could smoke and I accomplished something, I get to be like, whoa, I was so high when I did that too. But if he failed, he could be like, well, I was high, so what was I expecting? So it's like a built-in safety net thing. It's almost like a fear of, like, this
Interesting.
vulnerability, because what if you find out that, like, you can't live up to your own expectations?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
like,
might
in
be too
spite of
deep
the
for
drugs.
Sarah's husband, though, but...
Possibly. I mean, and that also reminds me of something that John Mulaney said when he was on Theo Vaughn's podcast about
I
how
love that episode.
Me too. And he's talking about how I love how Theo pointed out that John doesn't seem like the type of person that would be addicted to coke and all those other
I
drugs that he
know.
took.
Yeah.
And John's like, well, thank you. That was kind of the point.
Yeah, and he mentioned, like, his therapist was like, it's kind of scary how well you mask how poorly you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying that when I think it was like he was trying to find the perfect balance between like Coke, Adderall, and then he would take like a Xanax or something so that it would like bring him down to that level. And it took him a while to find that realization that he is funny despite the drugs.
Yeah.
Yes. Dude, that when he said that, I needed that because I'm an alcoholic. I'm 500 something days sober now, but I was a practicing alcoholic for 10 years. And I was like live streaming. I was doing, my content creation schedule was insane for a while. And I had convinced myself though, because like I had part of like remaining in your addiction is being able to romanticize your addiction. That's also how relapse happens. The first time when you relapse, it happens way before you buy the thing you're addicted to. Relapse begins with romanticizing the experience. And I used to tell myself, like I was doing meme Mondays every Monday, and it would take me a week for each makeup. I was spending $200 on some of those makeup supplies. Every dollar that I got in would either go to rent or to getting. But I was almost convinced that like alcohol was help because I would edit scripts and stuff like while drunk, and I was convinced that I needed it. And it was like, oh, there's all these artists that always have like some liquor with them, and like I had romanticized it so much, and I almost cried when I heard him say that, where like that part of the podcast where he was like, I accomplished those things not because of the substances, but in spite of all of that. Like, that's insane. And it doesn't occur to you as an addict because you're so used to thinking you need it. Because you do hit a point where, like, you need it to feel normal at all. You feel very uncomfortable and not in your own skin without it once you have a physical dependence. But no, that, and anyone who hasn't seen that episode, that is excellent. I love John Mulaney and Theo Vaughn talking about addiction stuff. It was so spot on.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I love listening to people talk about addiction, and also if they're a creative as well, because a lot of that goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that's how Dan and I, when he was fourth room brewing, we got really close just because we were facing a lot of the same criticism and like, not harassment, but a lot of people didn't like us for getting partnered because we were creatives, because we had lower numbers than the gamers. But so we were partnered in part because we offered something unique. And it was so physically and financially like straining and emotionally exhausting. The whole thing was it was so intense. And then on top of that, people would literally tell us we didn't deserve to have like partner because we had lower numbers than other people, when it's like the amount of labor and also a lot of our stuff, like a lot of the attention we got was after streaming. It was putting clips online and on Reddit and stuff. But Dan and I really bonded literally just from being creatives, because a lot of creatives, no matter like what your medium is, we tend to have similar struggles with the experience.
Absolutely.
It's hard. It's hard to be entertaining.
And I'd love to talk more with you about like that side of your creative journey on the podcast, because that's something that we could definitely dive into for sure. I guess back to the horrible vow thing, I guess.
This guy
guys, write your own
sucks.
vows. Put some effort into your vows.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're gonna joke too, like have it be a tasteful joke or like an inside joke between you.
Well, and at least make sure like your person knows that you're going to joke.
Yeah.
And that they're okay with it. Because I kind of get the vibe that like Sarah was really expecting it to be like a solemn, like sober, like really like vulnerable thing. And I'm sure her vows were probably very vulnerable.
Probably.
And she was hoping to see that side of him. And she's like, oh, maybe I'll finally there's all this like emotional depth. I just haven't seen it after 5 years, and I said yes to a proposal. Yeah. And now she's stuck with him. I guess not. You can still make it out. This is only one cycle away, Sarah. You're probably not even like pregnant yet if you want to have babies. Like you still have time.
You got time.
You can make it stop. You're only 30, Sarah.
You got it.
Sarah, you've had your blinders on for 5 years. It's not too late. All those people, no one, your friends and family don't have to go to bed with this guy. They don't have to fall asleep listening to his breathing, smelling his morning breath. You can get out. It's not too late.
Oh, my male hubris.
Hubris.
I need white noise. I cannot hear people breathing. I have to, like, I will I will briefly fantasize about strangling someone if I have to hear them breathing.
No, you're so valid for that, because, like...
I had to... Sorry, go on.
As opposed to, like, me, I actually find my girlfriend's little snores kind of, like...
No, I can't do it. It pisses me off.
In part, I panic because my anxiety is like, they're gonna stop breathing when you listen to them breathing.
No. And they're also awake. They're just faking.
No, like when I was pregnant with like my oldest, my anxiety got so wild. I would, like, all throughout the night in just a loop, I would put my head up to other, like, my spouse and my oldest child, I was pregnant with our second at that point. I kept getting up in the night and listening to them breathe, and I would try to listen to their heartbeat and like wake both of them up by just like trying to lay my head down. But like especially heartbeats, because like heartbeats, y'all, if you haven't listened to a person's heartbeat when they're like asleep, it's kind of it could be inconsistent, and like sometimes there's like a little pause before the next beat, and I'd be like, oh my god, should I wake them up? I'm pretty sure they're dying right now.
Oh my god, they're dead.
Yeah.
I was miserable to live with at that point.
No.
But yeah, no, my anxiety is always like, no, they're fine as long as I'm not paying attention to it. It's like it's like a bomb if I'm not looking at it. It's no, you know what it's like? It's like those cartoons where someone runs off a cliff but they don't fall until they look down.
Yes.
That's how
my
I feel.
God.
It's like I just can't. Yeah, I can't pay attention to it, or I'll like curse them. It's like there was this Christian band called Jump 5. I loved they were together for multiple years until I loved them, and then Libby left.
Damn.
So Jump 5 only had 4 members then. And I'm not saying that I made Jump 5 break up. I'm just saying Jump 5 didn't break up until I started listening to them and ruined it with my
I'm
juju.
the cause, but
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Man, the Lord works in mysterious ways, I suppose. All right. My first post here was off of r/off my chest by Free Yogurt 124. I hate the Hawk Tuah Girl and everything about her. In case y'all don't know about the Hawk Tuah Girl,
One more time.
I can't do it as good as
Do it.
You do it.
No, you do it.
Hot to.
There you
You
go.
gotta put like an emphasis on it, like
I didn't know which subreddit to post this on, but here I go. The first time I saw the Hawk Tuah interview, I didn't think much of it. Just thought it was a stupid country girl. But a few days later, it got so big to the point my little cousin, 7 male, asked me,
No.
do you know the funny Hawk Tuah video?
Oh.
Which made me lose my shit. From then on, I saw her with celebrities, appear on podcasts, go to concerts, interviews, etc. I just thought that this is her 15 minutes of fame. But no. She made fucking merch, met up with fucking Shaq, saw her with Jake Paul, Sketch, and others. Recently, I heard about her Talk Tuah podcast, which is the stupidest shit I've fucking heard. I put myself through an episode and oh my god, what the fuck? These cannot be real people. Her guest fucking dabbed in 2024.
Wow.
Now I have to live life knowing a girl said Hawk Tuah and is set for life, while I probably have to work a 9-to-5 my whole life. She doesn't deserve anything she has right now. Well, Free Yogurt, this is your arc. This is the beginning of the rest of your life. You can become a content creator and you can dethrone Hawk Tuah Girl. And you don't have to work a 9-to-5 if you work really hard and if you have a little bit of luck.
Just take some shrooms and tap into your inner egotistical creative, man. You might have something.
You can make something go viral and you could be the next Hawk Tuah.
Also, like, that girl, like, she raised money or something and gave, like, a bunch of free food to people.
Yeah.
She has done she's done
From
some
what I've
good.
heard, she's really not a bad person. Like, she's...
Yeah, and she's so young, isn't she? She's only, like, 20 or something. She's, like, she's a baby.
She is.
Yeah,
Instead of
exactly.
funny. I do get the overexposed thing, though, where you're like, I don't want to hear this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely got old
Yeah.
very fast. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, get her bag. Fuck it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's the smart thing to do too. Like, if you ever do have like a 15 minutes of fame, to just like cash in without wrecking your reputation and like get out.
Like,
Yep.
do you know Brittany Broski? Yes.
Love Brittany Broski.
Okay. Because she went
Obsessed with
from
Brittany Broski.
the kombucha girl. She rode
Yes.
that to as hard as she could, but she like showed her personality. And
Well,
now she's
so
fucking
like,
killing it.
Well, and like on top of like she was doing like the silly Billy like pee pee poo poo time content with her cousin, but now like she's doing like these art history videos that are really interesting. Like she's a nerd and she's so
Absolutely.
smart. And
She
like
is
the
so
royal
smart.
court thing. Yes. No, I love Brittany Broski.
I think that's like my biggest appeal about Brittany Broski is that she can go to from like the like kind of like
And then just
pee pee
lock
poo
in.
poo humor,
Yeah.
and then just lock in and be just like this really smart intellectual woman, and I sometimes I feel bad for her when she talks about like men not meeting her freak or or
men being intimidated because
because-
she's funny. They can't handle someone funnier than them, which is wild.
Yeah.
it is wild to think.
Yeah.
It is very wild
a weird ego
because egos are very strange.
Also,
very
are
strange.
we gonna pretend like Hawk Tuah is not an amazing name for a pod? Like that's the best possible name. Like when I had heard podcast and I was like, okay, and then I heard Talk To, I was like, I might give it a listen. I don't know. I might have a minute.
If there comes a point, I think, for people that ride that 15 minutes of fame where they might get, from 15 minutes of fame, they might get 30 minutes of fame kind of deal, where it's like lasting a little bit longer than you thought. I think I saw some people talking about how if she wants to have more than 15 minutes of fame, she needs to move away from the Hawk Tuah kind of brand, which in some ways I totally understand because you don't want to necessarily be known as this one thing forever. But I feel like if you put the amount of work in, that you will just naturally distance yourself from that thing. You may always be remembered as that, because I know Brittany Broski is probably always going to be known as the kombucha girl, but she is so much more than that. And I'd like to think that the Hawk Tuah girl, what is her actual name?
Couldn't even tell you.
Hawk Tuah girl name. Haley Welsh.
Haley Welsh.
Haley Welsh.
That's a very southern name.
Yeah, it sure is. She looks like a Haley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that.
I also remember when a lot of Republicans and conservatives got pissed off that she's like a Southern girl, but she's not like a Trump supporter or anything like that, which I thought was kind of crazy. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
She's not conservative.
Oh, I thought you said she is conservative. I was just I was like, oh, well,
I'm lying.
Yeah.
sorry, y'all.
I think like part of like being annoyed by like because I think I don't like the meme of like Hawk Tuah because I see like guys then commenting on girls like TikToks about like, oh, you're gonna Hawk Tuah and stuff, like it turning into like a harassment thing.
Yeah. Leave it to the men to do that.
Of course.
Yeah. No, I also like their cousin is 7. Their 7.
Why do they know
Your
about
old
this?
cousin, like, oh man, okay, but that was kind of crazy because when my kid was in kindergarten at like 5 or 6, the kids were watching Squid Game. Like, they were talking about Squid Game in elementary school. These little bitty children that probably have no idea what it was they were seeing. So at first I was gonna be like, oh, come on, what are the odds that this kid knows what it is? But then I was like, okay, when my kid was like 5, everyone knew about that.
Yeah.
When I was 5, I watched CSI and I watched Law and Order and I watched
The
House.
early SVU
I was,
episodes, of course.
100%.
Yeah.
But no, like the talk to all the like she raised a bunch of money, donated money, and she did something for I think she bought like a bunch of like pet supplies or pet food, and she donated it to a local shelter.
Aw.
Yeah, she's doing it the right way. And I think like she even said in a video that she knows it's probably going to be like a short amount of time she's going to be like a thing. So
Yeah,
might
might
as
as
well.
well take
wants to
advantage.
do.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, remember the wasn't it it was the hide your kid hide your wife guy who like he tried to like it was like he tried to make an app.
Yeah.
It was like an app or something that he tried to get away with.
Yeah.
Oh, or was it a song he released? No, it wasn't
think
the
it-
Shmoyoho thing, but it was like
I don't know.
Man, that's an old. Oh, I saw Shmoyoho just did like a video too about the debate. That was very catchy.
Man, what a debate that was.
I felt like
That
a fever
was so
dream.
entertaining. I mean, and
Yeah,
it's like
it
one of
was.
those things where it's like, this is terrible, but I like that. Listen, it had been a rough week, and I was enjoying myself so much. I was gonna do something like watch Legally Blonde, and I watched that instead, and I have no regrets whatsoever. I had so much fun.
Yeah,
I
it's
like-
good. It's political, but it's good content.
Yeah.
And like I love stuff where I know that so many people are going to be reacting to it at the same time. So it's like we're all having this like single experience together with a whole bunch of strangers.
Yeah,
I like that stuff.
they need a Twitch chat kind of thing on the
Yeah.
live feed.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. OBS is the thing. Widgets are. It's easy. Come on. Whoever's doing the
Yeah.
political debates needs to add the chat.
Have
widget.
like a super chat even. Like go ahead, make people pay, and like you could pay like to go to a different campaign. So whoever has the most messages, like they're getting a bunch of money. You could have tallies for who made the most money at the end. I feel like this is gonna get problematic real quick, but like I'm sure there's yeah.
Let chat ask questions for like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Send in
seriously
donations.
though.
Oh God, and
I want
have
to
like
see someone
the
ask Donald
AI
Trump
voice.
about Skibbity Toilet.
Yeah. Oh my
I want to
God.
see his face.
Yeah. Also, I to this day still don't know what the hell skibbity toilet means.
You're not
Me
supposed to.
neither. I just hope I'm never cornered and asked.
Skibbity toilet.
Like at least like on the internet, if someone's just like, "What's that mean?" I could just throw my computer out the window and be like, "Oh, I don't know."
Skibbity toilet or your life, and they shove a tiny microphone in your face and you have to answer.
Well, I'm dead.
Pocket sand.
Yep. Ah. God, I love King of the Hill. All right, my last post here was posted on an unpopular opinion. Figured we'd close out with this one. I have a lot of things to say about this. Maybe not. It was posted by Saucy Sally. Traveling alone is horrible. I have always been somewhat of an introverted person. I've traveled, but really only went to resorts or stayed with friends and family to see the sights. I recently traveled to Europe to do some backpacking and stayed in hostels.
Oh.
I wanted to have an adventure and push myself outside my comfort zone. While I saw some cool sights in England, France. England, France. God damn it.
I love that place.
They just have really
God.
long legs. They were in both at the same time.
Yeah, it's one that's like that spot in the United States where if you can stand in 4 states at the same time.
I was gonna say a
yeah.
Walk to Remember. Or like
Oh.
she was like one of her dreams was to be in 2 places at the same time, and he's like, "Look, you step
Oh
on
my
that side,
god,
you step on that side."
movie destroys me every time.
I've never seen that movie, but a girl at church literally cornered me and told me the entire movie
It's
Oh.
yeah,
while trying to hold it together. So I know
Yeah.
that entire movie without seeing it.
it's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, Mandy Moore at her prime. It's
I know, and that guy, I forget his name, but he was in other stuff.
It's like that. What was it? Why did I almost say Eat, Pray, Love? It was the one with Andrew Lincoln where he's outside the that woman's door.
Oh,
the
whoa,
cards.
whoa! Is it Love
Nobody
Actually?
knew him at the time because Walking Dead didn't happen yet.
No, not Love
yeah.
Actually.
Oh my gosh, that was that guy, wasn't that? That was
Yeah.
that Love
Yeah.
Actually.
Was it
Love
Love
Actually.
Actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I did not connect that was the same guy until just now. Yeah.
Man.
What a time.
Anyway. Well, I saw some cool sights in England, France, Switzerland, Netherlands, and Belgium I would not recommend. I found the entire experience extremely isolating and honestly felt depressed the vast majority of the time. I tried to make friends, but I'm a little weird and awkward, so most of the time I was by myself. Buses by myself, eating by myself, everything. Honestly, it was horrible and really quite boring. Seeing a great sight or having a great experience just seems kind of pointless if you have no one to share it with. I ended up becoming more and more depressed every day. More anxious and honestly hated it. What a waste of money.
Aw.
Wow.
I can see if like it depends on the person and also the type of experience that you want to have going into it. Like I've gone through some experiences, not necessarily through travel, but also travel, where I thought it was going to be one particular thing and I was going into it with the best intentions, but it turns out to not actually be, whether it's from outside forces or just me not expecting it to have been as bad as it was.
Yeah.
But I've also had a lot of pleasant experiences as an adult traveling alone. Like the first time I went to PAX West in Seattle, I flew alone. Like Norm met up with me at some point and we got on a connecting flight, but I remember on the flight back home, I flew all by myself. We both got on separate flights.
Wow.
And it was a red-eye flight, and I had never, as an adult, been on the other side of the country.
Wow.
Granted, that year we went to go see a concert. We went to go see the Foo Fighters because they happened to be there the same time as PAX West was happening, and I spent a ton of money on that trip, and I got on that flight with like nothing. And I was a little stressed out, but by the time I got back, I was like, oh, this is really easy to navigate, even with no money. I was like, it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I have like kind of a weird life story, but when I was 18 and I moved out of home, I took a 3-day train trip from Texas to Pittsburgh. And I remember being like so scared beforehand, but then once you actually start traveling on your own and you're like, why was I freaking out about this?
Yeah.
Like there's apps and there's signs, and most people that you encounter, if you ask for like help in like a bus station or a train station, most people are willing to help.
Yeah.
But I feel like in your head it gets built up so high. This person, they're like traveling like so far away. Like I would be so scared to. I mean, I would be scared to like go to France or wherever like by myself.
Yeah.
Just because like, what if I get stolen and nobody knows? Like,
Absolutely.
Yep.
what are you gonna do?
Y'all ever see the movie Hostel?
I was
Yes.
gonna say Taken.
And also Taken.
Yeah. Liam
Well, good
Neeson isn't
token.
always around to save you, so
Yeah, no. If my dad were Liam Neeson, I would probably try to get kidnapped on purpose.
I feel unstoppable, honestly.
It's like, you guys, as they the people who take you or like torturing you or just like keeping you locked in some like dark room for like 24 hours a day, just like, you have no idea what's coming. You have no idea.
I was thinking,
You
more
think
like,
this is bad?
if I'm trying to get kidnapped and no one will take me, and I just start getting in people's cars and like, oh no, stop! And they're just like, what are you doing? Like, kissy fuck out of my car. I'm like, no!
Yeah.
That's what happens.
If I was ever in that situation, I would just like piss myself or shit myself in the car so they have no choice but to throw me out.
There you go. Yeah.
Honestly, that's smart.
That is a good
Yeah.
idea. I heard like in California anyway, it was like a rough part of California where they said to like, you bite the skin between your thumb and your pointer finger because it's easier to make it bleed, and then you just start flinging blood at them and they don't know what you've got.
They don't know what to do.
Yeah, but I've always kept that in my mind where it's like, you know what, I'm going to be so ready. I've like low-key practiced it. Like it's like,
Yep.
I'm
Start
ready to
flinging
go.
blood, pissing myself. Fuck it.
There's like ominous music and like a slow zoom from the outside of your bathroom, and you just see like flecks of blood being splattered against the bathroom mirror, and you're just staring at yourself in the mirror, just going like, I have prepared for this.
Yeah, no, you
Ready.
walk out of
Life.
there and you're covered in like piss and shit and blood, and like your person is just like, what happened? And then you're like,
What?
I'm preparing.
Yeah.
What are you doing actually?
For what? Preparing for what?
Anything. Life. God.
Oh my gosh.
In the end, as to close out this episode, as Tony Soprano's mother says, at the end, we all die in our own arms. What makes you so special?
I could die in your arms
Could
tonight.
die in my arms tonight.
A great first date idea.
Must have been the piss and shit.
I don't think I would ever be able to date again if that's if, like my date showed up covered in piss, blood, and shit.
Triple whammy right there.
Yeah. But if you make it through that, you basically got a partner for life. So.
Really?
Yeah, there was a comedian that was like, he knew his wife was the one because he pooped himself on their date but was trying to like hide it. And then near the end of the date, she was like, you shit yourself, didn't you? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, I knew it! And he was like, that's how he knew. Because she knew he had shit himself. And she was like, you know what, let me see how this plays out.
That's crazy. You shit yourself, didn't you?
Yeah.
Just get to say that to someone one time. I don't care who. I don't want to legitimate
That's my new
reason.
goal. I need to say that to someone.
Jeez. Oh my god. All right, Hools. Thank you so much for coming and sticking with us in this video. I know we went on a lot of tangents, but it was so much fun. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to the podcast, and I'm looking forward to see how you guys like this episode. I'm sure y'all are gonna really love it. I had a great time. Hannah, thank you for coming on to Spicy Reddit Stories.
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime.
I've
Yeah.
forgotten everything we just did, so I'm sure it was good.
Me too.
Fingers
It was
crossed.
great.
Usually,
It was great.
yeah, no, that's usually a good sign that like things went good in our recording session and that it's going to be a banger video is if we don't remember a damn thing that we talked about.
Yep.
Well, thank you for having me. I had a good time.
Absolutely.
And thanks for dressing up as Deadpool. I know I completely forgot to mention that at the very beginning of this episode,
I
but
guess
y'all.
technically this time I was Lady
Woo!
Deadpool with the
Lady
ponytail
Deadpool,
because
yes.
my head was too moist last time, and I was like, I know, I got to take out some of the stuffing.
That's
So
fair.
got the ponytail. Yeah,
It can be moist.
cannot be moist for not with friends.
With friends.
There's a time and a place to be moist.
Moist among friends. Usually, what would those be? Swimming pool, hot tub,
Oh yeah, that's a good saunas.
The beach.
the Talk to a podcast.
Talk to a podcast.
Podcast.
If we ever somehow get the Hawk Tuah Girl on here, I'll be sure to ring your line, Hannah, and be like, all right,
Yes.
we're gonna have a double guest.
I will get a
Yes.
wig. I will contour. I'll just play her.
Please
Yes.
do.
Yeah,
Please do.
I totally would practice it too.
Hannah, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Oh no. I don't think so right now. Because I think this for me was like kind of dipping my toes back into like content creation because like for a full year there, I like basically did nothing. So like actually this has been like, and I'm glad that like we had to like kind of reschedule stuff because the first when I did the Deadpool makeup before, I was so like strung out intense about it. I was like calming myself down, like the whole like 4 hours painting. I was like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. You can get through this. And I feel like having like the distance and getting to talk to you guys a bit more, like this was like
Yeah.
way better timing. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like keep an eye out because I have a lot of odd creative ideas. I want to do moving sculptures. I want to do SFX on other people. I'm gonna do comedy and like musical comedy. And all sorts of stuff. So just, I don't know what anybody's going to see from me, but it's going to be some different things that are hopefully a little bit funny.
I can't
I don't
wait.
know
Awesome.
either. But yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But follow her on Infunktable. Is that what you go by on all your social media at this point?
Yeah, no, everything at this point is Infunktable. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll leave a link down in the description, and we'll give you a nice little tag,
Thank you.
Tag.
little animated tag.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope y'all have a wonderful day.
I don't.
Oh,
Well, that's fucked.